Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Open Table Adventures. As always, I am Dan the Baker, and we are back today with Table Talks, our little interview series where we talk to some of my and hopefully your favorite TTRPG content creators from all over the internet. Today, I have with me the lovely Annie. Annie, hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, of course. Why don't we start off? Just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Annie. I use she, her, and trying out they, them. And I'm Cantrip on TikTok and anywhere else on the internet that I care to be. And I do silly D&D TikToks and emotional D&D TikToks largely about my characters in my home games and then in any streamed games that I'm in, as well as the occasional Weird Al Yankovic style original song with jokes and just story times of really it's I just kind of nerded out all over the internet about my home games and then people decided that it was cool. So I do a lot of just I guess relatable TTRPG comedy, and also I'm a D&D pandemic baby, so I follow my journey as I experience everything, I
Yeah.
guess.
It's so funny just how many people that was like their whole journey started with like, oh, it's pandemic, guess I'll start playing D&D.
Yeah.
Like that's so many of the people I've interviewed have been like, it was like, oh, I looked into it in the past, but then when the pandemic hit, I was like full swing.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely, because suddenly people had all this time, which
yeah,
is,
for
as we
sure.
know, the real villain.
Yeah. So how did you? So you first started, during the pandemic. How did you kind of like? What was your journey into that?
Yeah, so it was, I think, February, April, something like that, 2020. And my friend Henry messaged a bunch of us and he asked, is anybody interested in playing a Call of Cthulhu campaign? And I had never done any kind of RPG before except for kind of like the online or the video game kind. So I started with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, made me super familiar with strength and constitution and charisma and all of that. So
Hmm.
when I eventually made my way to D&D, I remembered it from that. But other than that, I hadn't done a TTRPG at all. So he invited us to play. We played a year plus long campaign, and that was kind of my first RPG. And it kind of snowballed from there once we did D&D after that.
Cool. Yeah. I love Call of Cthulhu. I wish I started with Call of Cthulhu because it's so different and interesting to me. Like, 'cause I love all the Eldritch horror stuff.
Yes.
Um,
It was
I-
definitely an experience going from Call of Cthulhu, where you have like 10 hit points at best, to
yeah.
D&D, where you are the danger.
Yeah. That's definitely there's like D&D. I feel like is uh one of the only like there's only a handful of TTRPGs out there where you have a lot of hit points, like a lot of things. Like there are so many that's like, oh, you have 8 hit points. You get hit
Yeah.
8 times, you're dead. Which is kind of
Yep.
like, it's
Exactly.
like, yeah, if you get stabbed, you're gonna die. Like that's like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's valid. That
It
makes
is.
sense, I guess.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
then in Call of Cthulhu, there's also like, if you do something illegal, you will probably get arrested. So
yeah. If you look at
yeah,
something the wrong way, you'll go insane.
exactly.
Yeah,
What was your first RPG?
I was D&D.
Okay, cool. And
Yeah,
then did you move to something after that, or
I've
which
yeah,
one was the
I've,
first one you moved to?
the first game I did other than D&D was Monster of the Week.
Oh, nice. That's one I still have
Yeah,
to try.
it's so fun. I love all the Powered by the Apocalypse games because they're so rules light. It's so easy to just kind of jump into them and like it's you can figure it out almost on the fly, really. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, like the Monster of the Week manual I think is like 150 pages total, and that's including
Yeah,
like all the character like descriptions and all they have like sample mysteries as well. So it's like yeah.
that's
Um,
awesome.
Whereas D&D is like you have to buy these 3 separate books
Yes.
and they all give you different information.
Yes.
um, yeah. And so, how did you start on TikTok? Was that also kind of around the same time you started playing D&D, or did that come before then?
Yeah,
Or started
so
playing
that
TTRPGs?
was,
Excuse me.
no, you're good. So I started TikTok. It took me a little bit because I kept getting ads for TikTok, and I was like, I'm not gonna download TikTok because it's trying to be Vine, and it's
Mm-hmm.
trying to replace Vine in my heart. Um, my younger siblings use TikTok, and so I was like, okay, I will complete this sibling circle and get TikTok. And then I didn't really know what I was gonna do with my TikTok. It was just kind of silly and for fun, and in lots of ways it still is. But I started out as Can Do, and then actually I think it was my mom who suggested, why don't you make TikToks about your RPG campaign? Because I kept recapping it to my parents every week.
I'm tired of
so
this. Tell strangers on the internet.
They were really supportive, to be fair. They were really cool about it. But my mom was like, well, you have a TikTok, why don't you kind of do that? And then I found the TTRPG community, and it has been, I was so thrilled to find out that there were a lot of people doing the same thing.
Yeah. I think that's, yes, so many people I think have that kind of similar journey of just, it's like, I have all these things, these fun things I'm doing. No one in my life wants me to talk about it for hours on end. Let me find strangers on the internet who will listen to me, or at the very least can just scroll past if they don't want to hear me.
It has been the coolest gift, though, to just meet so many people. I think that was the greatest thing to come out of 2020 for me, was just getting to meet all of you.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, I've made so many friends through TTRPG TikTok community. Yeah, and you've had a chance. You've done some like actual play stuff as well. You did the work with Cast Party. Yeah. How did that kind of come to be?
Yeah, so that was just honestly. So I was in that with Mr. Dandy DM, Sensationally.me, Jose G, and Ryan McManus of Cast Party. So originally, it was funny because I had just made friends with Sin. And then
I just interviewed Sin. They're my favorite person.
You did?
Love Sin. Love them so much.
Sin. Please put this in. I would die for Sin. Anyway, so I had just kind of started talking to Sin and making friends with Sin, and then Ryan put out kind of the casting call, and Sin and I were both in the comments like, what if we got to play together? That would be amazing. And I don't remember what order it happened in, but Ryan showed up in my DMs at some point around then as well. So it was just I was very fortunate that he kind of got the vibe from my TikToks that I'm someone who really, really gets into character and loves the game and puts my heart and soul into everything. So that was such a fun campaign, and Jose did an amazing job, and Ryan did an amazing job sound editing as well. But that was super fun. And Sins and my characters will get married someday. That's we've both decided.
Nice. That's always a good decision. Yeah, I would love to talk about your just your characters, because like I said, you put so much into them. You put your heart and soul into them. Just like, what is your like method? I don't say your method, but like, how do you go about character creation? Like, what do you start with? Your process, yeah.
Yeah, I guess for me it's I look at because I haven't gotten to play every single D&D class. Or I guess this happens for any campaign too. Like, I look at the available, like for Call of Cthulhu, it's occupations, or for D&D, it's the classes. I look at kind of what I want to play, and then I think, what's a compelling character that I think would end up in that situation. So, for example, I knew that after Call of Cthulhu I wanted to be tanky, so my friends advised Paladin, which I have since fallen in love with, and I was looking through the subclasses and I found Oath of the Crown, and I was like, okay, how would someone end up as Oath of the Crown? Like, what event in their life would lead them to become Oath of the Crown and have that be the thing they're dedicating themselves to? So I guess it's kind of what's the class, and then what is the thing that led that person to that class, and why is that the encapsulation of their personality? And then from there, I like having that solid foundation, and as I play them, they become a real person. And my favorite thing is when they become like motivated character decisions, and I know exactly what my character would say in that moment. So that's kind of what it is for me. And then having a giant playlist helps too.
Yeah, for sure. I love having a playlist of just like I have some for some of my characters where I have to listen to it for like at least like a couple songs before I play them, or I'm like, I feel like I'm not in it,
Yes. Yeah. Do you do that like kind of I do it where I kind of transition out of the day. I try to by listening to a couple songs and then I have like a key activation phrase that I have to say in the character's voice so I can get
Mm-hmm.
into it.
It's your sleeper
Do you do
agent
anything like
code.
that?
I
Yes, the
will,
sleeper
yeah.
agent code. I can't remember who did that TikTok, but I think of it all the time.
Hmm. I'll, depending on the accent I do for my character, I have to like say a bunch of phrases in their voice just to get back in their voice.
Yeah.
I guess I have a character who they have a bit of like, Gavroche from the Les Mis movie. They
Yeah.
kind of sound like him a little bit. And so I have to practice to like get back into it. Especially I was playing him last night. I was watching the original What We Do in the Shadows like movie, the Taika
Uh-huh.
Waititi movie. And so I was
Yeah.
like, he's gonna come off New Zealand no matter what I do. It's like I need to focus.
The
Um,
bleed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
One of my friends has so we both do accents in our current Call of Cthulhu campaign, and theirs is like a southern one, and mine is a British one, and then we always end up doing each other's or well, I guess them more so than me
mhm.
doing my accent by mistake.
That's so valid. It's that what's that word? Like echolalia of like you sound
Yeah.
cool. I want to sound like you. um, are you the
I
type
wish I had more of
to
that.
yeah? Are you the type to like? Do you have a full multi-page backstory before you start playing a character, or do you let that kind of happen as you're playing them? Do you let it just kind of like come out in the play?
I'm so sorry to every GM I've ever had because I am a multi-page backstory person. Um, I've gotten better, I like to think, but I
Mm-hmm.
do because so in real life I write professionally. I've always been a writer, so that's kind of where I come from for TRPGs too. So I don't think I can not do that. I do a lot of fan fiction
Mm-hmm.
during the campaign too, but yeah, I'm absolutely multi-page backstory.
Yeah. No, I love getting like a really thick amount of character backstory because that gives me as a GM, I don't want to say ammunition, but it gives me things to work with, and it also kind of informs me how your character fits into the world.
Yeah,
And like I can
absolutely.
also shape my world around your character because you have so much information in there. It's like, oh, I can use this as like this is a thing that happens to a lot of people, or like this is a common occurrence in this world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so
Right.
cool.
Yeah, and I like doing it with my players. I love building backstories with them. Like,
Yes.
especially like they send me their first draft, I guess, and then I'll go through and be like, oh, this person, like this person you're talking about that you have not really specifics. They could be this person who's related to this thing, and like really
Yeah.
make sure everyone's weaved into the world. That's what I love about getting long backstories.
Yes,
Uh,
it's just I don't remember whose metaphor it was, but it's like blades to stab you with, like give your GM
mm-hmm.
blades. Um I enjoy that. I Jose and I built my character for Cast Party together. Like I came in with a lot of ideas. He helped me simplify it and then
Mm-hmm.
he added a plot twist that I didn't expect. Um so it was really cool. I love the collaborative aspect of TTRPGs in a way that you don't get when you're just writing a story.
Yeah, you get so many people who like you hear people talk about GMs and GMs who they're just kind of telling a story and the players happen to be there, and you're like, just write a book.
Yeah,
Just
right. Like
write a fantasy novel. Like you don't need the players there for this.
yeah, absolutely. It's a different medium. It's a different vibe
Hmm.
and goal. Like
Yeah, like you said,
exactly. Write a book.
collaboration, teamwork. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you just said you do writing professionally outside of all the TTRPG stuff. How do you? What was like? When did you start writing? And I guess what do
Well,
you
I've
write?
as professionally or in general.
I guess both. We can travel.
Yeah. Well, I was a big reader as a kid. And I started writing my own stories when I was like 8 years old. So I always had this love of writing throughout my whole life. And I was essentially a creative writing major in college.
Hmm.
And then that translated to I now work in advertising copywriting. So I have this I have this life where I get to do writing during the day. I'm in the right profession for it because I have a lot of bad puns in me. So I get to do a lot of bad puns and other kind of creative stuff during
Hmm.
the day for advertising. and then at night I get to do my RPG stuff and be creative in a different way.
That's so cool. I minored in creative writing in college, so
Oh, nice.
but I minored in poetry. So I'm not much of a fiction writer. Uh, yeah,
That's
which
cool.
actually my issue is I'm really bad with dialogue. Which I
Really?
think why I like TTRPG so much is because I don't have to provide the dialogue for most of it.
Oh, that's funny though. That surprises me as like a GM though, because isn't being a GM a lot of dialogue as well
It
for all
is,
the
but
NPCs?
a lot of it is in response to what the players are saying.
Oh, okay. So
So
you find
like,
it easier when it's like a conversation.
yeah, like when I can bounce off someone.
Oh,
Um,
for sure.
yeah,
I
it's
never
the
thought
same
about
with
that.
it's the same with my comedy because like I've tried doing stand up,
Hmm.
and I'm very bad at it. Just me standing there with just me and a microphone is not. It's like I can make a joke, but I'm like my energy's off. But like doing
Uh-huh.
like I've done group improv and stuff, and it's so much better, and I feel so much more comfortable.
I was just about to ask if you do improv because that's
Yeah,
that's exactly what improv is.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that's cool.
that's my favorite part of TTRPGs is just getting to bounce around with other people. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I just lost my train of thought. Sorry. And you also mentioned that you have younger siblings. Are you the oldest sibling, or do you have older
I
ones
am the
above you?
oldest. I'm the
I'm.
eldest daughter.
Oh no. How many siblings do you have?
I have two siblings.
Okay.
Yeah. So I get a lot of eldest daughter TikToks on my
Yeah.
page.
That's
But
I'm
yeah.
the baby, so
Oh, you're the baby.
I'm the
Of
youngest
how
of
many?
three. I have two older
Oh, same,
siblings.
same.
Yeah.
There we go.
So yeah.
We switched places.
Are you close with your siblings?
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
They're we've always been super close. So
Mhm.
it's nice that I know not every family's like that. So I'm lucky that way.
Yeah, that's me and my siblings were lucky that we're so close in age. Like my
Yeah.
sister is 2 years older than me, and then my brother's 4 years older than me, so we're all like pretty evenly spaced apart.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so like now that we're adults, we're a bit more closer than when we were kids, because like the difference between a 12-year-old and a 16-year-old is like much. It's a bigger difference in between like a 26-year-old and a 30-year-old. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have similar age gaps, and so I get that completely.
Yeah. um, so I guess outside of writing, outside of TTRPGs, what are your like interests? Like you talked about Star Wars. Like, do you have other like nerdy interests like that?
Yes. Yeah. So I am a big nerd. I've always been a big nerd. I You can't really see it, but I have an Xbox back there. I'm a big gamer as well as I also do improv. So I've gotten back into that in the past couple years, but I've done it since like high school. So I think that's why I like RPGs. Like it's a bunch of my interests all in one.
Hmm.
But I also like to play the ukulele. I like to act. I don't have time to act anymore. That's also a big time commitment. But I
Hmm.
used to do shows and stuff in high school and college. Um, and let's see, I would like to read more. Like I said, I was a big reader
Hmm.
as a kid, but a lot of my interests are in that kind of like entertainment,
Yeah.
reading, gaming space. Yeah.
Yeah. I recently got back into reading because I was the same. I was a huge reader as a kid, and then in like college, it kind of dropped off because I just didn't have as much time. And like now, I'm
Hmm.
slowly getting back into it. Um, and luckily, I have to do a bunch of traveling over the next couple weeks, so I have a lot of time to read then. So I'm hoping I can knock out a couple books. Um,
What's on your to read list?
I have it right here. I'm currently reading this When We Were Orphans by
Ooh,
Kazuo Ishiguro,
cool.
who's one of my favorite authors. Um, so this is the only one I have on me right now. And I'm probably going to steal some books from my sister when I see her because she's
Oh,
a
nice,
huge
nice.
reader. So yeah, she has tons of books. Um,
That's awesome.
mhm.
Are you're traveling to go see her?
Yeah, for this is being filmed around Thanksgiving, so I'm going to see my family for Thanksgiving,
Nice.
and she's going to be there. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. Um, sorry, my train of thought is all over the place today. I'm
No,
so
you're good.
sorry.
I'm getting distracted by your tarot earrings. Is that tarot or is it playing
Oh
cards?
yeah, they're can't really see. They're the Fool.
Ah, I love
Yeah.
that. I'm obsessed. That's so cool.
Thank you. They're also they're dangly and they kind of flop around, so easily distracted for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, jingle, jingle, jingle.
Mhm. So what I guess what is your like if you had to choose your favorite part of playing TTRPGs, like if there was like between the like the uh character writing and or the like uh improving part, like what is your like above all else top of the pyramid that you like love about TTRPGs?
I don't know if this falls into the categories you just gave, but my favorite thing about TTRPGs is when the characters and the dice combine to make a moment that you could not have predicted. So it's just, your chaos moment, or maybe the GM didn't even necessarily prep for it. But when the dice help tell the story that you were already building as characters, and that leads to just like a big moment. That's my favorite thing. So I guess it's just the collaborative aspect is my favorite thing. Just all these different things coming together to make a different kind of story.
Nice. That actually segues really well into the game I have planned.
Oh, that's right. We have a game. Yes.
And I did warn you. I said you needed to bring at least one D20.
I have
at the ready.
It's pink and sparkly. Please enjoy.
Ooh, lovely. So today the game I have for you is called In Dice We Trust. I have here, I believe I have four scenarios. Just like 1 to 2 sentence scenarios that I will say to you. I want you to roll the dice and determine from that number how you would respond to that scenario and how well it would go.
And as myself.
It's like as just in general of like innocuous character.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
All right.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And yeah, so I'll say the first half of the scenario, and then you basically will finish it out. Like, how does the scene end? Depending on how the dice go. Yeah.
Is it like a I'm gonna try to do something and I roll the dice like a regular game, or die like a regular game, or is it just here's the scenario? Okay.
You'll see. I think it makes more sense when I start it. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
First scenario. You're at a shop perusing the wares when you come across an item absolutely necessary for your journey. Unfortunately, you are several gold short of being able to purchase it. What do you do?
Oh, I'm absolutely sweet talking the shopkeeper. I'm gonna try to haggle my way down, get it down to a nice price. And now I will roll my sparkly D20.
Yeah, see how it goes.
It's a 12.
A 12. Okay, how do you think that would go on a 12?
I think that he would, or they would, put it down by some, but not enough for me to be able to get it.
Yeah, I think with a 12, I think you would have to. There's probably a little bit extra you need to put down. Like you'd have to bargain a little bit. Like here's my sword, or that kind of thing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
yeah. Let's see. Scenario number 2. You happen across a nest of baby dragons. There's no sign of any sort of parent or larger dragon in the area, and you can tell that the babies are hungry.
I suppose my first question would be if I know what baby dragons eat, which I don't know if that's like a animal handling or an intelligence something or other.
Yeah, I think let's roll the dice and see if you know what you would have to feed these dragons.
Let's see if I know what baby.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's a 7. So I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm like, do you like hot dogs? Like.
I think you try and feed something to these dragons, these little baby dragons. I think they get very upset and start making a lot of noise that you think might draw the attention of another dragon.
Oh, good. So happy about that.
Yeah. Great. Scenario number 4. You've been arrested.
Good.
You're currently in a holding cell pending trial. There are 2 guards about 20 feet away from you, and there are 3 other prisoners in like adjacent separate cells.
I think, sorry, 2 guards 20 feet away from me, facing toward me or away from me?
I think they're like having a conversation with each other. I think they have you in their peripherals.
And the adjacent, so we're all facing these guards, like boom.
Yeah, you're like against the wall for sure. Yeah.
Okay. I guess I would probably try to pass like a note or something to the cell next to me to try to get everybody to work together to get these guards distracted so that someone can steal a key or something.
Let's see how that goes.
And I will now roll. I'm not rolling so hot today. It's an 8. So I think I would write on a napkin and then and then just fall on the floor.
Yeah, I think you pass it to like the prisoner next to you, and they go, "Oh, thank you," and blow their nose in it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay, here's our final scenario. You are in a battle. It's the big bad. Everyone else is like dead or dying.
No.
And it's just you against the big bad. You have one more chance to take them down, and they have one more chance to take you down. So you're both kind of like, you're at this almost stalemate until you roll your dice.
Well, I think I would cast Hit Very Hard with sword.
I cast Stab.
Well, I would really love this dice to roll well for me, because I haven't rolled above a 15. That's a natural 1. That is a natural 1. I got Sin's luck today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
let's describe. I want you to describe for me just how would this character be absolutely destroyed by the big bad?
I think that absolutely, because this character's probably a paladin, because it's me. Like, this character probably puts everything they got into one big swing, but then the bad guy like runs them through, so they get impaled on the sword as they're kind of coming like that.
That totally makes sense.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, that's bad luck. Paladin. Yeah, this fictional paladin you just came up with. Yeah, that was our game. Good job.
Yay! Thanks. I died.
Yeah. Yeah, you died. You fed. I think you did. You rolled bad on almost all. You rolled mid on the first one. So I think that
it was a 12, a 7, an 8, and a 1. It was not the best.
I think you need to throw that dice away. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pink and sparkly, but at what cost?
Looks aren't everything. At what cost? It's gonna go in jail.
Yeah. Great. That brings us to the part of the interview I call our TTRPG Spotlight, where I give you a chance to shine a spotlight on something happening in the TTRPG world you want people to be excited over. What do you got for me today?
Yeah, so I want to give a shout out to God Killer by Connie Chong, and this is a 2-player holy punk RPG where it's the, oh my gosh, in this moment I'm forgetting the name, but there's the basically the GM, and then there's the God Killer, and I found the ash can is out right now. I got the ash can, and I listened to the podcast of Connie Chung and C. Thomas playing God Killer First Blood together. And I think you would like it because all the gods are tarot inspired. But basically the system is such that the God Killer is the first mortal who has the power to kill gods and take their powers. And so the game is about deciding which gods to kill and which to spare, and kind of collecting their powers in combination with your own awakened divinity as the game goes on. I think it's super cool. I am currently planning to play it as a home game with my friend, and I just think it's such a cool concept and has so much potential for all different kinds of stories. So I would recommend that you get the Ashcan, and I think the real version's coming out sometime. I want to say it's next year.
I think it's
I'm not sure though.
It's slotted. I think for, I feel like I saw something saying March. March or
Yeah.
I think maybe that is like spring, you know.
Yeah, spring
So
sometime, and then the podcast is really good. I haven't listened
yeah.
to. I think there's multiple God Killer podcasts, but I really
Mhm.
liked First Blood. I had I speak to chat on these headphones on accident while I was listening to the finale, and I kept pausing because I kept going no out loud and just like making noise. So yeah, that's what I want to give a shout out to.
Nice. That's been on my radar for so long. I've been meaning to kind of catch up on it. Just because I
Yeah,
love Connie Chong, I love Transplaner, so it's like I feel like I should like the other
yeah,
things they do. Great, thank
absolutely.
you so much for shining a spotlight. Everyone should check that out. Here at the end of our interview, I also like to give all of our guests a chance to talk about the stuff that they're doing, or that they have done, or are going to do that they want people to check out. So, where can people find you doing cool stuff?
Yeah, so I'm mostly on TikTok. I'm also on I'm still on Twitter X thing. I don't want to be, but I am. And I let's see you can always check out Cast Party. Fables of Findrea Arcanum is on Spotify and everywhere you get your podcasts. It is a prequel basically to the Cast Party campaign, or it's basically a side story to the main Cast Party campaign. But if you don't listen to the main Cast Party campaign, it can still work as a standalone story. But it's basically four adventurers accidentally work for the BBG and then get stuck in another plane. And I
Nice.
play Rid, who is a Hexblood rogue. And I had so much fun with her and that party. So yeah.
Cool. Make sure all of those, will be linked down below. So check out Annie. Yeah, thank you so much, Annie, for being here. I had so much fun talking to you, getting to know you some more.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Of course, thank you. As always, I have been Dan the Baker. You can find me at Dan_the_Baker anywhere I want you to find me. But you can always find me here at Open Table Adventures. Check out all of our shows. We have our Park Strangers, our Monster of the Week game. We have all of our holiday one-shots. Our Neptune's Revenge, our Call of Cthulhu games coming out soon. All of our other interviews with other tabletop creators, all of our recipes we have coming out. Just so much fun stuff, so make sure you subscribe so you never miss anything. And yeah, stick around because you're always welcome to pull up a seat. Bye-bye.
Yay, bye.